In the previous section, we brilliantly explored the basics of trigonometric functions and the workings of the unit circle. Now, my young scholars, it's time to tame those equations that may look complicated at first glance, but as you'll soon see, are perfectly logical. Take a close look at exercise 2. Our mission is to solve in the set of real numbers R 4 exciting equations. First equation. We have sine squared of x minus 5 times sine of x plus 6 equals 0. Second equation. This one says 2 times sine squared of x minus sine of x minus 1 equals 0. Third equation. Careful now, we're stepping it up a notch. 2 times cosine cubed of x plus 5 times cosine squared of x plus cosine of x minus 2 equals 0. A perfect challenge to sharpen your analytical skills. Fourth equation. Finally, the most elegant one to wrap things up. 2 times cosine squared of x minus cosine of x equals 0. That's our program, dear students. Remember, it's through practice that you'll become true masters of trigonometry. Shall we begin? Let's go.
Before diving into what's next, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with all the new content. If this helped you, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment. Your questions and feedback help everyone grow.
Here we have exercise 2, where the goal is to solve in the set of real numbers R. Let's analyze these 4 equations together. The first equation is sine squared of x minus 5 times sine of x plus 6 equals 0. The second is 2 times sine squared of x minus sine of x minus 1 equals 0. The third, a bit more challenging, 2 times cosine cubed of x plus 5 times cosine squared of x plus cosine of x minus 2 equals 0. And finally, the fourth, 2 times cosine squared of x minus cosine of x equals 0. Now, let me ask you, just as if we were in the classroom together, what do you notice? Take a moment to look at the highlighted terms. Yes, exactly. You're excellent. We notice 2 fundamental points. We see powers, like square terms or cube terms. We see that the term sine of x or cosine of x repeats several times within the same equation. As I wrote just below in the black box, this isn't a simple equation. It looks like a polynomial. These trigonometric equations are actually hiding behind the form of second or third degree equations that you already know very well. It's as if they're wearing a mask. To solve them, we'll use a brilliant trick, substitution. For example, we'll say that capital X equals sine of x, and suddenly the equation becomes clear and straightforward, just like a regular polynomial.
The brilliant idea I want to share with you today is substitution. Imagine you're facing a long equation filled with sines or cosines everywhere. Instead of panicking, we'll use a magician's trick. We'll introduce a capital X to replace our trigonometric function. That's the mask. In practice, we write on our paper capital X equals sine of lowercase x, or capital X equals cosine of lowercase x. Look closely at the arrow in the diagram. It shows us the path of transformation. On the left, we have our monster, that intimidating trigonometric expression. But thanks to our mask, thanks to capital X, the monster instantly transforms, on the right, into a familiar polynomial equation. Let's look at this first equation. Sine squared of x minus 5 times sine of x plus 6 equals 0. To make things easier, we'll use what's called a substitution. We set capital X equal to sine of x. Our equation instantly transforms into a quadratic equation you know by heart. X squared minus 5 times x plus 6 equals 0. Much friendlier, isn't it? Using your calculation skills, we look for the discriminant, the famous delta. We compute delta, which equals 1. Since delta is positive, we get 2 solutions for our intermediate variable. Capital X equals 2 or capital X equals 3. But be careful, my students. This is where I call on your vigilance and mathematical wisdom. Look at the red arrow in the diagram. Is this solution possible? Let's go back to our starting point. We said that capital X equals sine of x. That would mean sine of x equals 2 or sine of x equals 3. Think for a moment. Does that sound correct? Look at the big red cross. It's impossible. And why? Because, as we've repeated many times, the sine function is always between -1 and +1. It is physically and mathematically impossible for sine to reach the value 2 or 3. It stays safely within its interval. Therefore, my dear students, even though our algebraic calculations gave us numbers, the trigonometric reality tells us something else. This equation has no solution in the set of real numbers. We conclude elegantly, the solution set, capital S, is the empty set.
Second equation, 2 sine squared of x minus sine of x minus 1 equals 0. We'll set capital X equal to sine of x. The equation then becomes 2x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation we've known how to solve for a long time. By calculating the discriminant, we find two roots for our capital X. The first root is 1, and the second root is -1/2. But be careful, my dear students, don't stop there. The work isn't finished. As I always say in class, you must always give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. We need to return to our original variable, x. Let's analyze the first case, sine of x equals 1. If you look at the unit circle, you'll see a blue point at the very top. That's where sine equals 1. It corresponds to the angle pi over 2. Since we're working on the entire circle, we add 2k pi to represent all full rotations. So, x equals pi over 2 plus 2k pi. Now for the second case, which is even more interesting. Sine of x equals -1/2. Again, look at our beautiful circle. We're searching for the points where the y-coordinate is -1/2. We find two positions, marked by blue points at the bottom. The first, on the right, corresponds to the angle -pi over 6. The second, on the left, corresponds to the angle -5 pi over 6. And of course, we don't forget our faithful companions, the 2k pi, to express periodicity.
Let's take a look at this third equation. It looks impressive at first, doesn't it? We have 2 times cosine cubed of x plus 5 times cosine squared of x plus cosine of x minus 2 equals 0. But don't let it intimidate you. To simplify everything, we'll use substitution. We set capital X equal to cosine of x. Notice how the equation immediately becomes more familiar. It transforms into a third-degree polynomial. 2x3 plus 5x2 plus x minus 2 equals 0. The clever trick here is to find an obvious root. If you plug in x equals -1, you'll see the calculation cancels out perfectly. Beautiful. Once we have this root, we can move on to factorization. Our equation then becomes x plus 1 times 2x2 plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now let's solve. For this product to equal 0, one of the factors must be 0. First, we have x equals -1. Next, solving the quadratic, we find two more values, x equals -2 and x equals 1/2. But be careful, my dear students. Remember that our capital X is a cosine. And as you know, cosine is always between -1 and 1. That's why we boldly cross out x equals -2. It's impossible in the world of trigonometry. We're left with returning to our original variable, lowercase x. If cosine of x equals -1, then the solution is x equals pi plus 2k pi. If cosine of x equals 1/2, then we have two wonderful solutions, x equals pi over 3 plus 2k pi, or x equals -pi over 3 plus 2k pi.
Before diving into what's next, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with all the new content. If this helped you, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment. Your questions and feedback help everyone grow.
The next equation is 2 times cosine squared of x minus cosine of x equals 0. Often, the first instinct is to complicate things by introducing a new variable, like capital X, to replace cosine. But be careful, as I always tell you, don't fall into excess. Let's be smart and efficient. Look closely at this expression. We have cosine of x in both terms. What idea should jump out at you? Factorization, of course. By factoring out cosine of x, our equation elegantly becomes cosine of x multiplied by 2 times cosine of x minus 1 equals 0. Beautiful, isn't it? We now have a product of factors equal to 0. And you've known since middle school, for a product to be 0, one of the factors must be 0. Let's analyze this calmly and precisely. First case, cosine of x equals 0. If you look at the unit circle, where does cosine vanish on the horizontal axis? At the very top and bottom. That corresponds to the angle pi over 2. And since we can make half turns to return to those points, we write x equals pi over 2 plus k pi, where k is any integer. That's a quick and efficient resolution. Second case, the bracketed term equals 0, meaning 2 times cosine of x minus 1 equals 0. Moving the minus 1 to the other side gives 2 times cosine of x equals 1. Dividing by 2, we get cosine of x equals 1/2. Back to our circle. Where does cosine equal 1/2 on the x-axis? Excellent! At pi over 3 and its opposite, minus pi over 3. So we conclude x equals plus or minus pi over 3 plus 2k pi to account for all full rotations around the circle. Look carefully at the little blue points on the unit circle. They represent our solutions. You can clearly see pi over 2 at the top, minus pi over 2 at the bottom from the first case, as well as pi over 3 and minus pi over 3 on the right side.
Take a good look at what I've written on the board. This is our roadmap, our victory strategy. After all the hard work we've done, it's essential to summarize what we've learned. Here is the 3-step method for solving these equations that may look intimidating at first, but are actually very approachable. Step 1. Introduce a variable to simplify. My dear students, the first trick from your old teacher is not to be intimidated by apparent complexity. We introduce a variable. We write capital X equals sine of lowercase x, or capital X equals cosine of lowercase x. By doing this, we transform a daunting trigonometric equation into a simple quadratic equation. It's like putting on new glasses to see more clearly. Step 2. Solve the classic equation. Once we have our new variable x, we move on to solving. This is where the famous discriminant, delta, comes in. We calculate delta, we find the roots for capital X. This is a step you already know by heart, isn't it, my champions? Step 3. Filter and verify. This is where I ask you to be extremely vigilant. It's the crucial step. We must filter our results. Remember the golden rule. We systematically reject any value not between -1 and 1. Why? Because sine and cosine in all their elegance can never go beyond those limits. If you find x equals 2, we politely say goodbye because it's impossible. And finally, your teacher's bonus tip. I repeat this often, but it's for your own good. Always, yes, always, draw a small unit circle on your scratch paper. It's not a waste of time, it's your compass. It will help you visualize the solutions and avoid silly mistakes.
Before diving into what's next, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with all the new content. If this helped you, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment. Your questions and feedback help everyone grow.
This method we are looking at today is incredibly powerful. I cannot stress this enough. It is a superpower for your mathematical toolkit. You know those trigonometric monsters we sometimes face? Those long, scary equations filled with sines, cosines, and tangents that look like a giant mess? Well, this method is the secret weapon. It allows you to transform any trigonometric monster into a simple problem that you already know exactly how to solve. Think about it like this. We take something complicated and through the magic of variable substitution, we turn it into something familiar, like a basic algebraic equation. For example, if we have a complex term, we can simply say, let u equal sine of x. Suddenly, that monster turns into a simple quadratic, like u squared plus 5 times u plus 6 equals 0, and we can solve that in our sleep, right? But here is the real secret, my friends. It is all about the automatic reflex.
Right now, it might take a moment to see the substitution, but with just a little bit of practice and dedication, it will become second nature to you. You will look at a problem and your brain will instantly see the path forward. I believe in every single one of you, and I know you can master this. All right, that is the end of our class for today. You all did a fantastic job staying focused. Keep that momentum going. And hey, as a small favor to your old teacher, could one of you please be a champion and erase the board on your way out?